I still remember the season when love became a curse in our village. The air smelled of rain and red earth, and the drums of Eziani village beat only for the gods, not for love. My name is Amoka, and I was Nia's maid, the one who brushed her long black hair and tied the beads around her waist every morning. Nia was the chief's only daughter, tall, graceful, with skin like polished bronze and eyes that carried both pride and innocence. Her father, Chief Okoro, had promised her to the son of a neighboring king, a man she had never met. But destiny, as we soon learned, does not obey tradition. The stranger's arrival. It was on a Sunday morning when he came, David, the white missionary. He rode into the village on a brown horse, dust trailing behind him like smoke. He wore a simple white shirt and held a wooden cross that glinted in the sun. The children followed him, whispering Oni Oyabo, the white man. He came with words about a new God, a God of love and mercy. The elders listened in silence, their faces carved with suspicion. But Nia, she watched him with quiet wonder. From that day, she found reasons to walk near the old chapel he built by the riverside, a small mud hut with a wooden roof and a bell that rang at dawn. She said she wanted to learn to read his holy book. But I knew it wasn't the words she wanted to learn. It was him. Love beneath the moon. One evening, under the silver eye of the moon, I followed her. She wore her favorite dress, white with blue and red patterns, stitched by the palace seamstress. Her neck was adorned with coral beads, and her hair was woven with golden thread. She looked like a goddess of the river, untouchable, yet human. David was waiting by the riverside, his Bible resting beside a lantern. When Nia stepped into the light, he stood, almost trembling. "Nia," he whispered, "if love is sin, then I am already condemned." Her voice shook. "If my father finds out, he will banish you. And I will never be allowed to see the sun again." Still, they drew close, their hands meeting, brown and pale, two worlds that were never meant to touch. And in that forbidden night, they made a promise to each other, to love even if it meant losing everything. The secret unfolds. But secrets in Eziani never stay buried. A young hunter saw them by the river. By morning, the story had spread like harmattan fire. The elders called for a council. The drums stopped beating. Even the birds seemed to hold their breath. Chief Okoro's face was dark as thunder when he summoned his daughter. "Is it true?" he asked, his voice trembling with rage. "You have shamed your bloodline for an outsider." Nia knelt before him, her tears falling on the red earth. "Father," she said, "love is not shame. It is truth." He turned to David, who stood humbly at the palace gate. "You will leave this land before sunset," Chief Okoro declared. "If you ever return, you will not leave alive." That evening, as the sun bled red over the hills, David packed his few belongings. Nia watched from her window, her fingers gripping the beads around her neck until they broke. I tried to hold her, but she pulled away. "I will go with him," she whispered. They escaped. That night, she wore her white, blue, and red dress, the one she had worn when they first met. She moved like a shadow through the palace, barefoot and silent. I followed her as she slipped into the forest path that led to the river. David was waiting with his horse. "Nia, are you sure?" he asked. "They will hunt us." She smiled sadly. "Let them. I have already chosen my fate." They rode into the darkness, two hearts against the world. Because of the river by morning, the village woke to chaos. The chief's men searched every corner, every path, every hill. Then came the sound of screams from the riverbank. The horse had been found, but the lovers were gone. Some said they drowned trying to cross the swollen river. Others whispered that the river goddess took pity on them and turned them into white doves that flew away together. Chief Okoro built a shrine at the spot where their footprints ended. Every year, on the night of their disappearance, a strange light glows over the water, white, blue, and red, the colors of Nia's dress. The elders say it's a warning. But I believe it's a reminder that love, even forbidden, can outlive fear and tradition. And sometimes, when the moonlight touches the river, I swear I can still hear her voice, soft as wind, calling his name. David. 20 seasons had passed since that night. The villagers of Eziani still whispered about Nia and the white man who defied tradition. Their story had become a warning told to young girls who dared to dream beyond the village walls. But the river never forgot. Every year, on the night of their disappearance, the water glowed, faintly white, blue, and red, the colors of Nia's dress. The elders said it was the gods reminding us of what happens when you disobey. I, Amoka, had grown older. My hair was streaked with gray, and my hands trembled when I fetched water. But I still remembered Nia's laughter, soft as wind chimes, and the way she looked at David as if he carried her soul in his eyes. Then one morning, the river brought a mystery back to us. The child who came with the river. It was early dawn when the fisherman found him, a boy, no more than 10, lying by the riverbank. He was alive but weak, wrapped in a torn piece of white and blue cloth. His skin was the color of bronze, like Nia's, but his eyes were the blue of deep water. The villagers gathered around him, whispering, "Who is this child? Where did he come from?" The elders spat into the sand. "The river has sent an omen." I pushed through the crowd and knelt beside him. When I touched his wrist, something inside me froze. Around his neck hung a broken coral bead, the same kind Nia used to wear. "Take him to the chief," someone said. "Let him decide." The chief's restless heart. Chief Okoro was old now, his once strong shoulders bent by time and regret. He rarely spoke of his daughter. Her room in the palace had remained untouched, her bed neatly made, her comb still by the window. When they brought the boy to him, the chief lifted his head slowly. His eyes widened the moment he saw the coral bead. "Where did you find him?" he asked. "By the river," I said softly. "He bears her sign." The chief stared at the boy for a long time. Then he dismissed the others and called me closer. "Amoka," he whispered, his voice trembling. "The gods are cruel. They take and give in the same breath." The boy opened his eyes and looked at him, deep blue, like the river under moonlight. "My name is Chidi," he said quietly, in clear Igbo. "My mother's name was Nia." The room fell silent. Even the wind outside seemed to stop. The child's secret. In the weeks that followed, Chidi lived in the palace. The chief ordered that he be cared for like his own blood. But there was something strange about him. He spoke little, but when he did, his words carried a wisdom far beyond his age. At night, he would sit by the window and hum the same melody Nia used to sing. And when he laughed, it was David's laughter, calm, gentle, kind. Some said he was a spirit child, half human, half river. Others whispered he was the living proof that love never dies. But the elders were afraid. One night, during a council meeting, they confronted the chief. "This boy will bring a curse upon us," they said. "He carries the blood of the outsider. He does not belong." The chief slammed his staff against the ground. "Enough," he thundered. "If this child is a curse, then let me bear it. For I have already carried the curse of pride." The prophecy of the river woman. A month later, an old woman came from a distant village. Her eyes were blind, but she saw deeper than most. "I am Mama Ijeoma," she said. "The spirit of the river sent me. The child must be returned to the water before the next full moon." The chief trembled. "Returned? You mean?" She nodded slowly. "He is not meant to stay. He came to remind you that love cannot be buried. But his time among the living is short." The boy, standing nearby, smiled faintly. "I know," he said. Mama told me I would only stay until the moon becomes full again. The night of the moon. On the night of the full moon, the entire village gathered by the river. The drums were silent. The chief held Chidi's hand tightly, tears streaming down his face. "My child," he whispered, "forgive an old man who loved too late." The boy touched his cheek. "You already are, grandfather." He walked into the water, step by step, until the river swallowed him. Then the water began to glow again, white, blue, and red, brighter than ever before. And from the glow rose two faint figures, hand in hand, Nia and David. They smiled at the chief, their faces peaceful. Then, slowly, they faded into the mist. By morning, the river was calm. But on the bank lay a single coral bead and a folded piece of cloth. On it were words written in English. "Love is not forbidden where souls are one." Legacy of the river. Chief Okoro died peacefully a year later. Before his death, he ordered a monument built by the river, a tall stone carved with two doves, one brown and one white, flying side by side. And even now, when the moon is full and the river glows, lovers come from far and wide to pray at that spot, for courage, for peace, for love that defies the world. They call it Nia's Crossing, where the river remembers love. Moral of the story. No boundary is strong enough to drown true love. What is born of the heart cannot be silenced by fear, by race, or by tradition. It lives on, carried by the river of time.